Yeah. I think we are live. So
Okay.
yeah. What up? It's your boy Daddy B on Molitown platform, and welcome to another edition of Contrast Podcast. I know you guys have been used to us talking about music, business, showbiz, business in general, okay? But the underlining topic or the underlining fact about the show is we always debate topics that have to do with development, progress, growth in life, either mentally, financially, emotionally, or civilly, like in, I don't know if that's even the word, but yeah, in life, for everybody to grow as a person, develop. That's why we talk about business, how to manage your business, how to distribute your music. We talk about networking, how to build your brand network. It's all about having the best, like best growth, in life. So today we'll be talking about the like one of the most popular movements in the world. Like I believe it started in the USA because it was championed there a lot, and it started in the USA. And most parts of the world are picking it up. They have started picking it up, like moving forward because of the movement, because of the agenda. Though personally, I don't know the actual agenda of that movement, like the just a unique agenda of that movement. I don't know it because every feminist you talk with have their own point of view, have a take to the feminist movement or how they view it or what they think the feminist movement is to them based on their personal views, based on their personal yeah, agendas or what they wish to push forward, you know. So today we'll be addressing all that. Some men are feminists, women are feminists, some women are not feminists. Um, Here on the panel, we are three of us. We are going to discuss which of us is a feminist, which of us is not, why we are not, and what each of us understand by the word feminist or who is a feminist. Okay, so I'll go to the ambassador. Have your day been?
It has been busy. It was really it was rainy out here in Boya.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I just offline and online, yeah.
yeah,
But it's all good though. If one is making progress, then it's all good.
yeah. And my co-host, one of the old brooms of the show, Eta. Yeah, and I believe she's a feminist. Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah, Eta, how are you? Have your day been?
It has been okay. It has been a relaxing day. It has been a day with light issues, but we're trying to get used to it.
Okay. So
Mhm.
the reason we decided to do this topic today is we were talking about something else, and I don't know how the topic of feminism came into it, and we realized that there was a huge divide among the cast of that based on the way we view the movement. So we just
Mhm.
decided that today, okay, we'll talk about it. So maybe I can learn from the feminists. Maybe they can add or deduct some points from the way I view the movement, and maybe I can make them see why I may not go with the movement or why I'm where I am with the movement and how it is. Maybe they can suck me in. I don't know. By the end of this episode, we'll see. So I start with the ambassador. The ambassador, are you a feminist?
Yes, I like to consider myself a feminist though.
Okay. So from the topic we are
Yeah.
asking,
So
what, as a
if
Cameroonian,
we
what do you understand by the word feminist?
yes, so if we go by the definition of being a feminist
Yeah,
or feminism,
yeah.
it's advocacy for women's rights on the ground of equality of all the sexes.
Okay.
So just going by that definition, I am a feminist. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
advocacy for women's rights on the grounds of equality of the sexes, I'm a feminist.
Mm. Okay.
But now there is what we call African feminism, which
Mm-hmm.
is like a branch of feminism. And I feel like that's what we have been exposed to, African feminism,
Okay.
which I feel like it's very distorted. They don't have one front.
Yeah.
They don't also have clear arguments and definition of what they stand with. So
Yeah.
I could just list a couple of things. Under African feminism, we have things like motherism,
Mm-hmm.
femalism, snail sense feminism, womanism, nego-feminism, and African womanism. All of those things are concepts within African feminism. So I feel like they are not very clear. So when it comes to what feminism stands for in the African sense, I have just, my definition of it is just coming from looking at powerful women in our society, and most of the time they happen to be feminists too. That's how I define feminism for me. All of these theories, I feel like they're interesting, but it does not really apply in our day-to-day society. So my perspective of feminism is what I see the women around me do, especially the powerful women or the ones with the voice. So I feel like feminism as the global definition of feminism, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But feminism from the African perspective may not make sense. I have a couple of arguments towards that in the direction of, first, there's one argument within feminists which said feminism, I don't know, you want something?
Yeah, I just wanted to, let's come to what you understand by feminism. There we go to our various points, our various takes, and bounce off.
Okay. So that's my understanding of feminism.
Yeah.
From
So
the global
let's move to
perspective, the
Ita.
African perspective.
Ita, are you a feminist?
Yes, I'm a feminist.
Okay. As a Cameroonian, from your point of view, what do you understand by being a feminist?
Yeah, so for me, being a feminist is like the ambassador said, definition. It's talk about equality, and it's fighting for equality between the sexes. So, and for me, feminism is something which, it's a concept and it's a movement, but also it's something personal to me, because I think that feminism should be personal to everybody who is a feminist, and it should mean something different to you. Because for me, I feel like for a long time we have had people say, okay, these are the rules, like for if you're of this gender, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to like, this is how you're supposed to be. And I feel humanity has gotten to a place where those gender roles are kind of fluid. They are flexible. People can do what they want to do, and it doesn't matter what sex you are, what gender you are, you can excel in each of those things. So for me, it's, as a human being, at whatever gender you are, having the free will to choose who you are, what you want to be, what makes you happy, your path in life, without letting the society definitions hold you back because of your gender. So personally, that's what feminism means to me. And if before I round off, I just wanted to say something about like the reason why I felt like it's very important to talk about this topic, because there are a lot of young girls who, when you talk to them about feminism, they like the whole idea and they feel like it's beautiful. But a lot of times when you get into rooms and you talk to some people, there's this, it's true, like the people spearheading feminism or the people who are very vocal about the movement might not always say the right things. We're human beings. Sometimes we're not perfect, right? And so you have and sometimes the loudest voice might not even be the right voices. So you have a lot of loud voices who might not be the right voices. And then you have people picking on this and people shunning the whole movement because of these loud voices they have heard. So you have a lot of young girls who love the movement and want to follow it, but are afraid because people put them under this kind of stereotype. Oh, you're a feminist. Feminists are like this, feminists are like that, feminists are like that. So my whole hope with this whole conversation is that young girls feel free to get behind the movement and personalize it to their lives and live their most fruitful and fulfilling lives.
Okay. So it's now my turn. Feminism.
Yes.
We all, the three of us, we have the same definition of the word feminism. Okay. But I am not a feminist. I have the same definition, but I'm not a feminist based on the way the definition applies to everything and the topics and the agenda feminists have. You know, it's equality for women in every aspect of life, in every domain of life, in every field the woman is in. If she puts in the same amount of work, she deserves the same pay. If she does the same, like they need the same respect and reward and acknowledgement men get in every aspect of life. Am I far-fetched from what from it?
Yeah, I think that's a fair
Yeah.
definition.
So yeah, being okay, knowing that that's the definition of it, in some cases it applies. In some cases it is far-fetched. In some cases feminists are reaching, you know. So being equal in normally, like, everybody deserves to be treated equally as like humans, and we know based on the track record of life there were certain things in life where women couldn't do, but they do now, so they deserve that respect. That one I'm not arguing with anybody. They deserve the credit for the amount of results and the result they get from doing what they are doing, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's my stance. I'm not a feminist. We have the same definition. That's equal rights for women in every domain they partake in. If they put in the same work as the men, they deserve the same reward. Okay. So the ambassador, let's go to your point. The various points that you don't agree with when he has all the various things that gives you a conflicting resolve when you're talking about your own belief of feminism or your understanding.
As I said, the global definition I'm fine with. When it comes to the implementation of being a feminist, especially in the African context, which I can always speak for that because that's what I've known most of my life, it's conflicting. So being a history student, I also feel like I can always pick up the books. I cannot say how true that is.
Yeah.
But some of the historians say that feminism should not even be an argument in the African setting, because initially in the African culture, women were given all the powers and their place was clearly established. Taking away, look at some of the Ashanti kingdoms where women were leaders and things. When you look at even in the African setting where they said the man is the head of the house, but inside the house is the woman who controls. There's so much sense to those kind of sentences just said in African, So now I feel like that's one, because it was like, okay, some of these historians are saying so feminism does not even, it's not, because feminism is almost like trying to come in to fix something, a problem which does not exist typically in the African context. But somehow this problem has come about because when the Africans, after slave trade, colonization, independence, and all of that journey, when we were learning things from the Western world, capitalism included, we took some of those things without adapting our society to those things. So I mean, like, when we went to the office setting and things, we not think of what is the role of the woman in that setting, how will she adapt to that setting, given that she has the blessing, I don't want to call it the curse too, but she has the blessing and the challenge of reproduction put more on, the weight is more on the woman's side. That was not taken into consideration when the capitalism world flashed into Africa. So somehow it distorted all of those systems which we had in Africa, in the typical African society. So when the women are complaining, I'm like, and then, okay, there's one thing you guys, I don't know who said it, there's a difference between equality and being the same. So we want equality between men and women, but it does not mean that men and women are the same. Yes, of course they are not the same. It just made me think, or when we had this discussion, I think like 2 days ago, there was a very enlightening debate or discussion between Chimamanda and the German president, Angela Merkel, is the German prime minister. And The discussion was so enlightening. They touched political things, cultural things. But, okay, a lot of it was centered around feminism. But I was like, if you saw the way the discussion, I think it's still on YouTube, yeah? It was live on YouTube. If you saw the way the discussion went, I was like, maybe this is what the world would look like if we had more women leaders. Because like I don't know how to explain it. Chimamanda was always giving compliments to the German Prime Minister, and the German Prime Minister was giving her back. The whole, like there's this ego struggle which men have, which was not on that table. And they were talking about political things, difference in culture. When Chimamanda raised, Chimamanda can be very opinionated. When she raises things like Germany has done this, the culture has done this, normally any German man I know, any male politician, even though he knows those things are right, he'll look for a way to check her to be like, don't go against my people. These are us.
That's patriotism.
But the German, but the German Prime Minister was like, there's a way somebody makes you to feel like, yes, I know we are wrong, to a point where you start acting like, yes, although you people were wrong, but also there was a part which we did, which was almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but everybody was accepting their wrongs and then understanding the other and then trying to look for solutions. So the discussion went in a very smooth way, which I felt like, whoa, this is what the world might look like. We have more female leaders. Back to the African context. One, I always say that I feel like feminism has no clear leadership, so the followers have lost their way. So you meet a girl in the bus and she's all rah about feminism. When you try to ask her core issues about feminism, she has no grounds. At times, I play the devil advocate to ask those questions, not because I'm not a feminist, but I just want to test the grounds on which the soldiers are going to war. They cannot be leading the wagon and then you are the person, there's a bus of maybe 30 women, nobody has spoken about women and this issue. You decide to speak, but you don't even have arguments to back it. That's not a good look for the whole feminist struggle. So I always check those kind of things like, so what exactly is your point? And I try to just run with and I realize that I'm always very empty most of the time. You're just like, no, men are like this, men are like that, men are like, I'm like, so what's your point? How do you solve this? Is it women versus men, or is it how do we solve this problem? So as I said, I just feel like the core of it is Africa went into civilization and capitalism and we lost, based on what historians say, we lost the strong feminism which already had engraved in our culture. Now, what the situation is, I also feel like 70%, that might be a reaching statement, but 70% of the women who have a voice are also not helping the cause. So one, they don't have arguments to back the feminism. And even when they are put in positions of decision-making, most of the time, a woman will still not vote a woman. Women, I always say that my strongest argument towards feminism, or why I feel like men need sensitization, but the women need to understand their struggle even more, because I feel like every man is a son of a woman, and if the women raise their sons right, we will not have this problem. But because they too don't understand what the feminism, and most of them don't even support it, that's why these sons are being raised to look like they don't understand the plights of the women.
Okay. So you have anything to add or subtract or contradict it?
No, definitely. Like I have more. I agree more than I disagree. I don't even know if I disagree. So I think the ambassador has raised some really important points. But one thing I just wanted to talk about is like the example you mentioned of the young girl in the bus, and she has a lot of things to say about men, but she doesn't understand the movement of feminism and the whole core principles and stuff. So what I would say about that is, honestly, there are a lot of young girls who see things in society because you're a human being with a brain and you know how you have feelings and you have a conscience, you know this is wrong and this is right. And then they complain about those things because it's wrong.
Can you permit us to have a little of an exchange while you are trying to check some of the remarks I made.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question I wanted to ask you is, so after you have used that brain that you have, being sure that you have one, to assess the problems that we have in the society, is it not only but human for you to do some research to be able to back the arguments which you, or the problems which you have identified?
Yeah, it's true. It's very important for you to do that research and work towards addressing those problems. And if you want to be a voice to those problems, you want to be an informed voice. You don't want to be an ignorant voice, of course, right? But what I'm saying is, I am not going to stop that young girl from complaining about the wrongs or the injustice that she feels she has seen. Now, I think the right thing for her to do is do some more research about the things and try to see, okay, what is the right strategy? Like, how can I, as an individual?
I don't understand. When you say you're not going to stop her, so you are going to let her walk around spewing her ignorance, because nobody's like stopping anybody, though. If God wanted the mouth to be, he should have put a lock thing on it or a zip. But as long as mouths can open when they want, nobody can stop you. But at least I can tell you, like, this is not the way to go about this thing. I feel like there's a lot of sensitization to be done. So you're not stopping her, but it's just sensitizing her, like, going about it this way is not taking you anywhere. It's not solving the problem. It's secretive.
I just believe that part of what I believe that, one, feminism came as a result of the new age woman. Okay, what they believe in, what they think the woman role in the society is and is supposed to be, and what they think women deserve. These new age women. And sometimes feminism is driven by girls who listen to things that sound good at the moment. They don't even do the research, but because it triggers some sort of good feeling in you, like, yeah, sister, nothing that way. Like, even if it is right or it is wrong, but if it relates to you, they just accept it. Like, there's a saying that a broken clock is right twice a day. Even if the rhetoric, they are just spitting out rhetoric. They must, when you listen to it for almost an hour, you get some few points in it that you agree with. Though the base or the underlying fact about what they are saying doesn't make any sense when you think about it. Sometimes a girl will just say, because part of it just came when they talk about equal pay. Okay, I don't refuse equal pay, but it depends on which domain should that equal pay apply, or what amount of effort can a lady provide to get the equal pay with a man. For example, if a man is a secretary, a woman is a secretary, they deserve equal pay. If they put in the same amount of work and they have the same results, if the woman gives more results than the man, she deserves more pay than the man. But when we go to other domains like sports, the woman can never ask the same pay with a man. It's, if what I'm saying now, if you disagree with what I've just said, you say it. And also it goes to a point, feminism, that it has,
I don't know if you got me there.
yeah.
I asked, why do you think the woman does not deserve equal pay like the man in sport?
Okay, this is one interesting topic. The woman does not deserve equal pay in any sport because the male sports generate more revenue than female sports, and sporting is a business. You get paid based on what you produce. Okay, for example, the female American football team, they have been championing equal pay for ever since they won the World Cup, right? And up to today they haven't got it, though they won the World Cup and American men haven't won the World Cup. But when you go to see the, like, even WNBA, like the basketball, the NBA is supporting the WNBA because the WNBA is not generating enough revenue like the NBA. It's like a business. Like, let me just quote, you have a shop, okay? Your employees have a fixed salary, right? And you can only give your employees salary based on what your business can make. so that you don't overpay the workers, that you run out of business, that you don't even have capital to keep your business running. That's how you gauge it. So female basketball teams, the teams don't have enough sponsors like the male basketball team. Female soccer, like football, the amount of eyeballs, the amount of money male football generates, the female football cannot generate even 1/5 of that amount of money. So it's not even logical that the female receive the same pay the men receive when it comes to sport.
Yeah.
When it goes to even fighting like the UFC or MMA or boxing, when you hear that there's a male main event, you hear the pay-per-view sales, like 30 million pay-per-view sales. When you hear female boxing main event, you hear the pay-per-view sales, okay, the female have sold 1 million, 2 million. Do you think the female boxer who is headlining the female boxing event deserves to get the same pay as the male boxer who headlines the male boxing event?
So let's go into the detail of this. For me, it's an overstatement to say women don't deserve equal pay like men in sports. It's reaching.
Get my point.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What I said is it depends on, women deserve equal pay as men, depending on the domain. Okay? Like
no, that's what I said. You said in sports, right?
Is that sports? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I want us to look into. Yes.
Yeah.
So the same argument which I go with in the workplace, which at times I oppose equal pay in the workplace, is what I take even to sports. And I feel like it's not a matter of women or men.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matter of demand and supply, value created and money made.
Yeah.
That should be the argument. It's not a matter of women or men. So,
but feminists make it that way. Women versus men, they forget about the business, demand, supply, profit, margin, all these things. They forget about it and just go with
women or men.
Exactly.
Because I tell women, but that's why I feel like the capitalist system too is not fair, because I don't know if people should say it's not fair, but the fact that the woman has to go out for 9 months to go and have that baby, and then maybe 1 year for the baby to grow up to a certain extent, and then the fact that she has maybe more of the social burden towards the family.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's fair to expect her to have the same output like the man. But ceteris paribus, capitalist world, demand is demand, supply is supply, there's nothing we can do about it. So if we don't fix that system, we cannot fix this one. But now, just taking it out, okay, that's what the system is, capitalist system. If you come to sports, I tell people, like, that's why I feel like it is, when we just group like men and women and not looking at the system, it's a problem. Because I feel like Serena Williams is more entertaining than most of the male tennis players
Go and do your research.
Who make more money than Serena Williams.
Go and do your research. They generate so much money than Serena Williams.
No. Listen, that's what I'm saying. So I don't feel like it's about being entertaining. That directly translates to how much they generate. There is the branding around it. There is the like what you say in WNBA, the effort which the NBA puts behind the NBA is not the same effort they put behind WNBA. So it's not just
break that point down. Emphasize. Tell me what you mean by that.
Yes, so there is the marketing which they put out. There's the quality of managers. There is the quality of at one point, like the best managers first go to the NBA and then the rest go to the WNBA. So there was one lady, I think the assistant for the Spurs, the first woman who coached a team in the NBA after this man's name? Is it Popovich went on retirement or so? Or he was sick or something, I cannot recall. It was like, that's one of the best. There is this other black lady who just coached the American basketball team. They are saying that those people should move to the NBA. So it's almost like the best coach should go to the NBA, and then those who are not good enough for the NBA should now come to WNBA. But if that's the case, that would directly translate to why the quality of basketball is not also going to be the same.
Okay.
But the NBA should say that, okay, the best women should go and coach WNBA, the best men should coach this. It will be different. But like the best women are now going towards the NBA, and the best talent and style of play is going to be at the NBA.
there's nothing like there's nothing signed like a decree or an NDA or something that says you when you get to this level of professionalism you need to be in the NBA. The thing that
No.
the thing that drives
Yeah.
that movement is what they can benefit from using the person with that expertise in a domain that already generates this amount of revenue. Okay, if the WNBA generated so much money than the NBA, they would have said, okay, all the professionals like the great coaches and all these guys move to the WNBA because that's where the money is. It is
Yes.
where the
So
money
it's about
is.
the money, it's not about the gender, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like, okay, like even when you say in sports in general, there is this thing that the dance like ballet, how do they call it? The Olympics.
Gymnastics.
Yeah, gymnastics. Do you think the men do that better than the women?
What do you mean?
I mean, when you see the guys, at times there's one that it's singles,
Yeah.
the girls are dancing alone with these things that they turn around.
Yeah.
And then there's one which is almost like they are dancing together. I don't know if that one is Winter Olympics or it's the real Olympics. There's one which is a guy dancing with a girl, ice skating kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
ballet.
there's
I
one
think
that is a
something
guy
like
and a
that.
girl.
Yeah.
And then there's one that the girl is alone, which is the gymnastics one.
No,
And I
there's
feel like
gymnastics and
women
there's
do
that ballet
that better
dancing
than men.
kind of. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they are two different kind of disciplines. You know.
So, do guys do that ballet dancing?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. But I feel like girls will do that better than guys do.
But gymnastics, there's male and there's female gymnastics. Have you watched both
Yeah.
of them?
I think I watch mostly the girls though.
Okay. But when you watch both of them, the female one is entertaining, yeah, but the male one goes more on the side of skill.
Yes, but because I'm not a very strong gymnastic fan, so whoever
Me
the
neither.
media
That's why when
carries
you're
and whoever
talking
they're
about all
talking
that, when
about,
you're talking about it, I cannot have more facts.
so
Let's
there's that American girl. There's that American girl who pulled out of the Olympics this year because of, was it depression or something? What's her name? Black girl.
Naomi Osaka.
Naomi Osaka.
No, not Naomi Osaka.
No,
Naomi Osaka is tennis. They said there's one girl who's a gym.
Yo, Naomi Osaka is tennis.
Simone
Simone Biles or something. Simone Biles.
Biles, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Simone Biles is like one of the most talked about gymnasts in the world.
She's the best gymnast ever.
Okay. So what happened to the male
Best,
gymnast who you say
I think
are
the best
most
female
skilled?
gymnast ever, I think. But as for the male, I don't know.
I don't hear talk of the males though.
You know, most of the time she gets that there are so many things that go with sports. You have press, you have all these things. They like hers has been so publicized because of the things underlining things that have happened accompanying her career. Though she has been the best, being the best in that field, she has been facing some personal problems that she put aside and still keep her professionalism and perform at the highest level. So those kind of things propagate like the image, you know. It's almost like in the, let's just talk about, is when you get something like MMA, UFC fighting, you can be great at fighting, but if you cannot trash talk, you don't become as famous as the person who trash talks a lot. Still same with boxing. So that's one of the reasons, though she's the best in the world, of course she's the best. Like the runner-up, like her second in command, she won the gold in Olympics. She said,
Okay. So that we don't get lost, right? What I was aiming at was we focus on the system and not the fact that it's male or female.
Yeah.
And when we focus on the system, we'll see that the system is flawed. The system is flawed and it's not fair towards women from the get-go.
Not that the system is flawed. If the women can generate enough money, they will be paid what they deserve. For example, when you go to Hollywood, like movies, if a woman generates a female movie, like if we are given the same directors, we shoot the same movie and we release the movie, go to the box office, the man's movie generate 100 million and the lady's movie generate 300 million. Do you think they deserve the same money from the back end? No. The lady will make more from her back end.
Yeah, but I feel like in a case where the man generates 300, the woman generates 300, the man
The
might
man will
make
get more.
Why? So that's what I'm saying. Some of these things, it's not a matter for us to fix, but I feel like that's our default setting. So even myself talking here about being a feminist and all of that, at times I have to check myself like, but why did you do this? But your reflex just tells you that the man is, I tell people like, in entertainment, I don't like to work with women most of the time. That's my default setting out of my experience with them. But so I always have to check myself like, but why do you say that? But out of experience, I mean, I remember like when I launched my modeling thing, I had there were guys and there were girls. But those that stood the test of time and then made it big were the guys. The girls would just come and say, her boyfriend says she's not moving around with these boys, or her boyfriend says she should stop this modeling thing because most models are whatever. Random kind of things, they let those decisions impact their life. And I feel like that's why I say it goes back to our core setting.
And
because I
based
feel
on the
like
way,
girls in Cameroon feel that money, the men will make money and will just come to spend money. Most girls, let me put it that way. So how can you have that mindset? I'm really seeing that you're moving like somebody who feels that boys who make money and will spend that money come to now start telling me about feminism. It does not hold.
yeah,
Those are
because
some of my kind of
it's also a double
where
standard. Because I just believe feminism is in play when the ladies feel like it is beneficial for them.
Yep.
It comes in play. For example, okay, let me ask Ita an honest question. Ita, would you date a man who makes less than you?
Yes.
Would you marry a man who makes less than you?
Yes.
Would you give him the same amount of respect?
Yes.
Logically, you're saying that, but factually, it never happens. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, let me ask another question in that line. Eta,
Yeah.
are you there?
Yeah, she can.
Are you going to use your money to run the house if the guy doesn't have enough money?
Yes.
Listen,
without anything.
Get the point, the ambassador.
Yes.
I don't want it to be like two men are here asking her
Let
so
me
many
ask
questions.
a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. The ambassador, do you believe me?
The first 2 years, but the last one, I doubt.
Yeah. It is
Why
always
don't you believe the last one? I want to know, like, why don't you believe the last one, the ambassador?
So the last one, at times even, you might be saying that society will frown against it. When you tell your friends or say that you're a stupid woman, people will feel like something is wrong with you, that you're not nice enough, or what is wrong with you, that you're spending your money for the man. Your family and most other people will feel like, what have they given our sister that she's spending money in a house when it's a man's role to do that? So society's pressure alone is not going to lead, even if your logical brain wants you to do that, society's pressure is not going to let you do that.
Okay, so from what you know about me, do you think that because of the society pressure and what people say or stuff like that, I'm going to have grudges when I spend my money?
Okay, so at times I tell people like this thing is not, when we're talking about society, the effect of society at times is conscious and is subconscious, right? And at times even, when the woman wants to stand strong, like it's our house, that's how we run our house, the pressure might also come through the man's side. So a normal sentence which you would have told the man like, please help me and wash my car. A man who knows that his ego is in check, he's making his money and everything is good, he'll wash that car like I'm doing it to help my woman. But a man who does not have money will be like, wait, because I don't get money, now I'm washing the car. So you see how you start quarreling in that relationship, and that relationship might fail because there is that problem which in our heads is not. It's just it is there like
It's
our
not like
default
in our
setting, as I
head.
said.
Genetically, we were wired that way. There are some things that, as a man, when you
I don't
grow up,
think it's genetics.
I don't
genetically,
genetics, but I know that it's in our heads though.
yeah. Listen, there are so
I
many
don't think
things
it's genetics.
Because
between male and
there
female.
is genetics and
Genetically, it is wired that way.
there's what we call cultural conditioning, which is as
Yes.
we grow up, these things get into our brain. So it might be genetics, it might be cultural conditioning, but I know that that's what is in us.
Because that genetically men were built, because in all these things like technology and the rest, all these ones, machinery, all these things, because of intellect, or because we want to reduce the amount of manual labor, all these things came into play. But right from, let's just say, the Stone Age, genetically men were built like machines. That's why we have higher bone density. That's why we have
No, but Liby, I don't think that is it though.
get the point. Okay,
So
no.
I get your point, but I feel like it's not like we're built like machines so that we provide for the house.
Why?
It just happened at the time when humanity's brain was not that developed, and we're counting more on physical force, which was the muscle.
Yes.
The man had to be the breadwinner because he could go and hunt, he could dig the yam holes. So the man who had the biggest yam band would get married to 3 wives, you could hunt and bring meat, source of protein.
Why?
But now the richest men in the world are those
So that's what I wanted
have
to say.
very little physical strength.
I know,
Like,
yes. That one still
like,
translates to
a lot of
those
girls
men. That one
have
still
more
translates
physical
to
strength than
generating the
them.
revenue. But
So
get ambassador, I understand what you are saying. All these things, yes. Why were the men, let's just say, doing all that?
because I'm the stronger one, so maybe in the
Exactly,
beginning,
because you were genetically modified to do it.
No, you were stronger. You were built stronger.
What made you strong?
There is this guy,
Who
right?
built you strong?
If you want to have a balance of balance of thought with regards to this whole feminism thing, there's this guy Jordan Peterson. He's a Canadian, I think. Yeah, he goes hard on those things. So most of the time when I listen to Chimamanda, I listen to Jordan Peterson. He gives me a good balance, where he explains that God, the initial creation of man, whoever you want to say created man or wherever man came from, society has always been about balance, the yin and the yang in both ways, balance. So there was a balance where they know that, okay, the man is physical, the woman is emotional.
Exactly.
Too much physical is going to destroy the family. Too much emotional is going to also let the family go wayward. It does not mean that physical is more important than emotional.
No,
you just
nobody
need the
is
balance
saying
of
that.
the two for the family to thrive. But now, in a world where salaries are only paid to the man who is physical, nothing is given for the emotional, the woman becomes poorer. She should have been receiving a salary for her emotional effort too.
So
the capitalism does not value that.
Okay, so you think men normally men are not emotional? Do you think so?
I think they are less.
They are less. They are emotional, but they are less.
No. The same way you talk about the society influencing the woman's thought when she starts taking care of the man or spending her money towards the man, is the same way society treat men who feel like they are emotional. Like you said, it's a yin and a yang thing. And it's the same way women view men who are...
Society discourages men who are emotional.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even women, women see men who are emotional as soft. And it kills that primal instinct. A woman is built to want security. She can provide the security, but if she wants to bring something or somebody in her life, that person should provide her stability and security.
And what does the man want?
The man wants peace of mind.
He doesn't want security.
Security.
Let's just assume that that's what happens. Now,
okay, the ambassador.
Is anyone more important than the other, though?
What?
Is security more important than peace of mind?
No.
So why is it that somehow the society seems to value economically the things which the man can provide more than what the woman provides?
Because economics can provide peace of mind at a cost.
No, I feel like it's because it's the men who were deciding what is of value in the society, so they made their own things look more valuable.
Why though?
Because they were in power. Paradox of value.
Get the point.
Most of the time, the less
We are still
important things
talking
are
in
always more
circles.
valuable.
Why were they in power?
Because at the time when humanity was evolving,
Yeah.
they had the physical strength, which was what counted. So they were the ones in power.
Exactly.
At that time,
and at that point in time,
could kill the other person.
and at that point in time, that was what was needed to take humanity out of the phase it was in.
And now we are no longer at that stage.
So
things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed. That's why I say genetically, it hasn't changed in a sense. If you think about it, it hasn't changed. It has evolved.
Evolution
No,
is
we no longer need physical force to survive.
Change means it completely became something else. Evolve means it's the same thing in another facet. The same thing in another,
I don't think that definition.
No, but I feel like since it's going to appelle le jeu de mots, we can as well accept evolve. It's okay, even if it has evolved. Now that it has evolved, we no longer need physical strength as a means of survival. Why has society and the capitalist world not adjusted to that?
Because based on right from the get-go, when those things were needed to get society to those places, okay, as men were putting themselves in those places, building those things forward, the men control the capital system, like the monetary system, and most of the things that could generate revenue were controlled and influenced by man and his power and his thoughts and all these things. So as these things grow up, women now generating revenue, making money, building families, making all these things, it is still brand new. That's why you see it doesn't compare to what the man already has put in place. The man has already established. So it is so it is unlogical to say the woman should get the same reward from what she has put in compared to what the man already has.
That's not what I'm saying.
I don't understand. I don't understand because somebody is born in 1995.
Yep.
A girl is born in 1995. A boy is born in 1995.
Yeah.
You're saying that because in the past, men have put in more. This girl and this boy.
Let me give an example.
Yeah.
Let me give an example that might.
Your example. I was about to counteract your example now. Ambassador.
Imagine that both of us go to Harvard, right? I go to Harvard with Bill Gates' son.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know that no matter how hard I work, if we work the same level of intensity, Bill Gates' son will always be richer than me, right?
True.
Because he comes from a generation of wealth that have accumulated technical know-how, that have accumulated wealth. So I cannot easily catch up with him like that. I don't know if that's what Liby was talking about, saying that women cannot just meet men just like that.
Yeah, because if
in a sense, no.
Okay.
In a sense,
so
no. Okay,
explain. Maybe give an example. Yeah.
In a sense, no. Taking for example, when all these things started, it's like my small example I just want to give now. Let me just use soccer. Soccer started with men, okay, before the women football came in. I haven't said with time the female football won't generate what the male is generating. At that point, they deserve equal pay. But because these things came first, the man has built this thing in a way that made the system in a way, or the thing generates revenue more than this thing that just came.
Does that make it fair?
It is fair.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair.
No, it is.
Because I feel like
okay. Can you guys read the comments?
No, I cannot see the comments.
Yeah, there are comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so for me, I feel like it doesn't make it fair, and it highlights the fact that those who are in a lesser position because they have not had the chance historically to build a stronger foundation should be given more help.
I'm trying to get your phone too.
Okay.
Should be given more help. Now I would link it to another movement I keep on talking about this because like that's two movements which I care about. The whole Black Lives Matter and feminism. So these are two things which I'm interested in and I kind of follow and stuff like that. So that's why I'll keep on referring to them. Now in that movement, you have people talking about the fact that Blacks need to be given some reparations because due to slave trade, due to the fact that their ancestors were held back, they need to catch up to their white counterparts. And for me, I think that is a fair thing to do.
Yeah, it is
because
fair.
for generations, yes. So why would you say that is fair for the Blacks to be given, they have to be given some aid to catch up? And then for the women who have also been held back for a long period of time, and the men have been going further, that the men have built a stronger foundation, why don't you also think that that same logic should apply to the women too? Why would you think that it's fair?
Because you cannot compare the Black Lives Matter or the slavery and reparation with the feminist movement. Why? The ambassador, way back from the beginning of time, the revenue men make, even as they make more, that revenue is not to make men important or uplift men. Yes, so Neto August, how are you? Join the conversation. Tell us what you think. If you have anything to add, you add. So, boss lady, they are shouting you out. So,
hi.
Yeah, so going back, you can't compare that movement to this one because going back from the beginning of time, and the ambassador, when the man generates that revenue, that money was not to put the man ahead of the woman. It was to put the man in a position to satisfy the expectations women and the expectations society had for him. Because currently, that's why I asked that question of Ita, would you date a man who makes less? Would you date a man who do all this, all this, all this? The truth is, if a woman makes 100,000 a month, okay, she would likely want to date somebody who makes at least 150 or 200 a month. Do you agree with me, Ita or and ambassador? Which of you agree? Which of you disagree? It is it's most likely that her preference will move from a man. Her preference, okay, will be a man who makes more or the same, equal or a little bit more. Even the man who makes the same as her will not.
Yeah, so if I'm answering personally, I would say the things which I would say they are more in my priority of things when I'm choosing a partner. It's not, does he make this percentage more than me? For me, I feel like it's least of the priorities.
Because
it's not, let me not say least, but I would say it's not one of my top priorities.
Based on the track record, when you add women who always say they can date, and women even have a name for it, the ambassador, do you know that? They call it down date. Have you heard the term? Down date.
Why, Liby, there was something I wanted to go at when you were raising your points, so I felt like
go on.
Playing the blame game like the men are the problem or the women are the problem in non-feminist.
No,
not helping.
I'm not blaming anybody.
I feel like
I haven't blamed anybody since this thing started.
Yeah. No, I'm saying something a little more general.
Yeah.
But from your arguments, right, I feel like the men should understand that one, the system which they are put in place is not fair. Two, it profits the human race more. If a population which is at least 60% of the human race is more active, they have a better voice. I feel like even our whole democracy and most of these systems are failing because the women don't really have a say in those things. Meanwhile, there are a larger population on this earth. Now, that's for the men. So one, for the men, even if you want to look at economically speaking, it makes more sense to involve the women to be more productive in the productive workforce, now that it does not depend on brute force. Secondly, it was not even fair from the onset. Now, coming to the women, I feel like the women should also wake up and realize that their mindset is foul. It's faulty. What the Liby is saying about a woman wanting a salary, dating a man who has a higher salary, it is true for the large majority. So even at times, Eta's opinions might not reflect the large majority. And sadly or happily enough, the world is going with the majority, even when the majority is wrong. Some of
Exactly.
these stereotypes come off the majority, not
Majority,
of
yeah.
what was right or what was wrong. It's just what the majority thought. At one time, it even made sense for slavery to be happening in the world. It
Because
was even religious
majority,
at one time.
yeah, majority wanted it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not landing on my points for the women. I feel like the girls need to straighten up their thinking because they are the ones who are enabling this system. When you are in class with a girl, your father gives you food money. She knows that she should keep her own and then come and take even your own which your father gave you. That's just reinforcing these systems. When she's choosing a job, a girl will tell you, like, I should just write any concours because I'm not the main breadwinner. What do you mean you're not the main breadwinner? She knows that a man is going to come and foot those bills. So while the men are trying to change their mindset to think that, okay, we should involve women, the women should also be willing to do the work to get involved. And when you are involved, you should work not feeling like you should be given any preference because I'm a woman. Till the capitalist system has been tweaked to value your social and your... I told people, like, left to me, women should say that, okay, all of us are going to go into the office and give 8 hours full swing. I will not get pregnant. Nobody will have the child. If you will not pay women for the time when they're having the child or give them extra salary, humanity should end there. No more having of children, so that if they don't value this service the women are doing for humanity by having the children, then there should be scarcity of having children.
That's what's happening in Japan. That's what's happening in Japan now.
I should be a consultant to some of this administration.
Yeah, a lot of women are going into the workforce and they are not willing to take the maternity leave and be held back from their male counterparts. So
when it becomes a social and survival problem, the men will value it now. I also feel like the women need to sit up. Women need to go to school more, work harder.
Yeah. I just
The truth is, this is what I was.
I just want to add to what the ambassador said, right? It's true. Like if women decide that, okay, we are going to focus more on just the work, and if you're not valuing the service, then we're not giving the service, and that's it. You see in societies like Japan, even in China, I heard that they are running an ad now trying to encourage women to get married, and like some kind of ads on the streets, like if you don't get married at this age, you are is it leftover women? They are putting some kind of terms and stuff just to prepare them to know, like, you should make it happen.
No, but what makes you think they're running those ads for that?
Why do I think they're running those ads for that?
Yeah, to deter women from actually chasing their career, or to deter women from actually competing with men. Why do you think those ads were made for that?
I feel like they want to play on the women's emotional side.
Yes.
Ambassador, why do you think so?
I feel like humanity has always taken advantage of women's emotional side, knowing that when it gets rough, even from the simple family setting to the workplace and all of those things, the woman is the person who is going to say, well, we cannot leave. Men at times are willing to go all the way with their guns and fight and kill everybody. The woman is the person going to say, no, please, let's stop, because humanity needs to survive.
There's a level of feminist...
They're hoping that the women will understand and then give in.
True feminists portray masculine traits. What do I mean? There's a level of success in the world that before you get to that level of success, you need to be harsh, you need to be brash, you need to step on toes, you need to do all that. Since the women are...
And that's not right.
That's life. That's the reality of life.
It's not correct. It's not correct.
Yeah, because
listen,
when you say...
we all know it's not correct. There are so many things in the world that are not correct, but that's how life is.
But we can
understand.
Say that.
No, I'm not talking about women. You guys are cutting me short. You guys don't even let me land my point.
Okay.
What I'm saying
is...
Yeah.
I was also talking. Yeah, but anyway, before I continue.
Okay. No, it's the ambassador. The ambassador is taking all of this thing.
I was still talking about my China and Japan thing before you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's a level of success in the world that you need to be. There's a term. You need to be lethal for you to get to that point of success. And men are willing, or not that men are willing, men are somehow mentally designed to get into that mind state to do it. So feminists who want to get to that stage of that level of success need to portray masculine traits. I don't if you guys
So masculine by masculine traits, you mean that those kind of harsh, violent, or
exactly.
the
That's
traits?
when that's
Okay.
when, because right from the beginning you guys said women are the emotional being. So and the male are the let's just say the less emotional. Let's not just say unemotional, less emotional, and the physical ones. So to get to that level of success, the way society and the world has been designed is to there's a certain level of success that before you get there you need to be lethal. That's the word I was looking for. You need to be lethal. If not, you will lose everything you've built up to the point where you needed to break through to the 1% of the world. So for women to get to that point of success, they need to display that masculine trait, which takes away from their nature of being emotional. And that's the place in the world where you see most feminists now turn most of the society off. There's a point I wanted to make. When you guys were talking about that China
Okay.
ad, okay? When you guys were talking about that China ad, the reason I kept asking, like, do you guys think that was done for this? Do you guys really think that was done for this? Do you guys really think that was done for this? I'm saying there were women when they started in chasing the career life, okay? When they started all that chasing all that life, they got to a point in life where they realized you were designed to be emotional, and there's a point in your life where you ask you that part of you will take over, and you will question the things you've been doing from the beginning to that point. It goes to this lady Gabrielle Union. She started all this feminine movement, be this, chase your career, don't have a kid. It got to a point where that emotional side of her came to play when she was trying to have a kid and she couldn't. Now she has a book out. She's crying and talking about.
Please, before you continue, Gabrielle said, "Chase your career, don't have a kid."
Go back and watch.
When did she say that?
No, she didn't say it now.
not
I'm just saying, go back and watch her career, like way back as she to this point.
No. So
No,
I
no, no,
watched
no.
a lot of our interviews to this
Yeah.
point. She
Yeah.
never said that don't have kids and chase your career. But we
Yeah.
know that in life you cannot have it all.
Yeah.
So if she
So
decided to chase her
most
career, it means
that was just
she
one
was forgoing
example.
having kids.
I'm saying that it's not like she was about not having kids now, women empowerment, chase your career, become all this. If you watch all her interviews, she said all those things. But her book now, she's talking about how she was, because she came to the later end of her productive age, she was facing difficulties having kids, and she was emotional, crying, saying all this thing. There are so many women on TV who have reality TV shows, very rich and famous women who complain about the end, because the reason men don't have to complain about this thing is because men, we were designed to provide. Men, we were designed that no matter how much taxing it is to take care of the world or provide for the world, like that's why the man is the provider, the woman takes care of the house, the emotional support. When you get married, you're seen as the head of the house, but the woman is actually the person running the house, because the emotional and the mental state, emotions and mental and peace of mind, that's what keeps the household, and the woman has control of all that. That's why you see men, very powerful men who are feared out in the world, respect their wives, and you're asking yourself, but how can that small woman be controlling that man when he's this? It's because of the way
Liby,
genetically we were wired.
I feel like this is also one of the problems we have in the world. For me, it's even worse than the nuclear bomb thing. Humanity is slowly destroying itself because we
Exactly.
are missing out on the balance.
So
you saying that that's how the world is, for me, that's why you see I kept on trying to interrupt, because I was like, some of these things is part of the problem in this world, because I say it to some of the time, I say, that's life, deal with it. But in an effort to solve the problem, we cannot lay that as a foundation that is life. It is what is happening, but it is wrong. So we should be trying to solve it, but we also take into context that is what it is for now. I always tell people, like, I have so many issues against capitalism, But I don't feel like there's any better system which has been proven to work. But it does not change the fact that I know that there are issues with capitalism. So we cannot just whitewash the issue with capitalism by saying that that's the only system that exists, so deal with it. How do we make it better if we don't accept our problems and we're trying to fix it?
So, from all these things, we've gone above our mark, so Ita should land with her point, then I can say what I have in mind. Then, yeah.
Yeah, so my point that I was driving at, which it has now, it's like I have a lot of points because you said stuff now. I want to react to that stuff, so I'm kind of like just trying to decide where to start.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the Gabriel Union thing first. Now, I do believe that humanity has gotten to this stage where a lot of girls are seeing that if I just believe that when you depend on somebody for your livelihood, somehow that person has control over your decisions, over what you can do. I've seen a lot of cases, and I think you guys are aware of a lot of cases of young girls who have depended on guys and they have been mistreated and they have been in all kind of heartbreaking kind of situations. A lot of young girls are hearing these stories. A lot of young girls have lived these stories, and they have made a decision of, I cannot depend on another person for my livelihood. So I have to put in the work. And if I'm bringing a key to this world, how am I bringing a key to this world if I'm not yet at that stage where I can even take care of myself? If I'm bringing a key to this world and for example, like in the black American world, where you have statistics that show that you have a lot of absentee dads.
Why though?
Now, if you bring a child,
that's a whole topic on its own. We
think
cannot talk on that
on
because
own,
I know three of us here don't have enough information, enough data to actually discuss that topic because it goes way back to the slavery days. That thing was a mentality that was instilled in black men. Like, it goes way back.
Let me land before you continue, Debbie. So you have these ladies who know that, okay, if I want to think of having a child, I have to make sure that I can provide for that child. That's what's happening now. So it's
I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because nowadays, okay, let me just say, if you said women go for, like, if somebody provides everything for you, if you're depending on somebody for, let's just say, solely depending on somebody to provide everything for you, they own or they decide things for you. In a sense.
Yes, they have a certain control over the way you think, over the things you do, over your life.
Yeah, true.
My own disagreeing was different though. Yeah. I disagree because you raised 3 points. You said they have realized that it's a problem to depend on men. They have decided to, you said 3 things. They have decided to put in the work and, what are the 3 things you said?
Yeah, put in the work and say, if I cannot take care of myself, I'm bringing a child to this world, I cannot even take care of myself.
So I agree with the first part. So many wrong things have happened and those girls have seen it.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they have decided to start doing the work. I don't feel like they are doing the work.
Because
I'm talking about women like I began by saying the Gabriel Union case. I began by saying you have girls who have decided that, okay, I'm going to chase my dream. I'm going to keep aside the childbirth, whatever situation first, and chase my dream.
But that's the exception, right?
Yeah, so I was just talking about that Gabriel Union case. But it does not negate the fact that I want to have a child someday. Sometimes the fact that I want to have a child someday even spurs me to work harder. So that's why when the DB said something about Gabriel Union saying children, blah, 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 I was like,
no. That was not the
that was not even the point I was making.
Gabriel Union did not say that you should not have kids. But we also know that nature has a clock when it comes to childbearing. Technology might be messing with those things, but humanity, when we mess with those things, we always come to realize that nature was right.
Yeah.
Yes. So my where I'm driving to is that, so a lot of times you have, I always quote this example. It was second year of university, we were in an entrepreneur class, and this male teacher, late 40s, stood in front of the class. Majority of the class were girls. And then he was like, all these girls in this class chasing higher education. You should be very careful, though, because you don't go too far before you start thinking of getting married and stuff, because most men will not want to get married to you when you're very successful. And
do you know why?
Tell you personally, I'll tell you personally, I've had people tell me that you should not be too ambitious because you scare men away. Then you also have people who tell you scary stories of the woman who was too ambitious, decided to follow her dreams, then she died alone in her house, she was sick, and nobody was taking care of her. And I was like, wow. So I have family, I have brothers and sisters, and you're telling me that because if I don't get married...
You don't get my point. In this world, nobody wants to die alone, even men.
My point,
I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question, then you continue here. Are you saying that what they are saying is a lie, or are you saying that what they are saying is wrong?
It's wrong.
Which one?
I'm trying to explain the reason for the mindset that a lot of girls have that tell them that...
No. Do you think what the man is saying is a lie?
Class, yes. Yes.
No, a lot of times you see in society...
Wait.
No.
We are saying that, and what that your teacher said,
is it a lie?
Was it a lie, or is it that it is wrong?
I felt it was a wrong thing to say to girls who are in the higher institution, probably having dreams of...
But it's not a lie, right?
It's not a lie.
No, I cannot tell you that.
It is not.
About that.
Me, Ambassador, you as a man, me as a man, let me tell you, it is the truth.
I cannot tell you if it's a lie or not a lie because I've not gotten the statistics. I'm not going to sit here.
It is the truth.
Because we leave the statistic. We are the statistic. We leave it.
Okay, Ambassador, is it a lie or is it the truth?
If you tell me
it's
that...
the truth.
It is the truth.
Okay.
But I stand on the fact that it is not correct, but that is the truth.
The truth.
Yes.
You understand? Let me tell you this thing, Eta. Let me tell you this. Men, right? Men go for, because based on statistics, based on women who has put that time in to make all this achievement, get to this position of work. When I say they get some masculine trait, it comes to they become intolerable. And man, like I told you, the only thing he needs that he cannot provide for himself, sometimes he can, but the only thing he needs that he cannot provide for himself is peace of mind. And he needs assistance from a female counterpart to get that peace of mind in some cases. So if a man wants to go in for a companion or a partner, he will not go in for somebody who always see him as a competitor, who always see him as this. He does not want, he's leaving work to come back home. He's not leaving work to go to work. And most of the time, men don't go for women who make the same amount as them because they believe most of those women always see them as competitors.
Okay, now...
I want to make a disclaimer. Although on this argument I'm with Liby, some of his explanations I don't agree with them because I can run into trouble just by being on the same side with Liby.
Yeah,
so
but...
I agree with some of his examples. I'm on the same side with him, but not on everything.
I understand.
Let me say something. Let me say something, right?
Yeah.
I believe that life is about choices. And in order for you to make your choices, you need to, I'll advise you to make like a well-informed, choices that you know the consequences, like this can be the possibility, this can be the outcome. Now, if for me personally, as let me talk from a personal point of view. I have ambitions, I have goals, I have drive. And for me, I'm very passionate about the things which I want to attain in life. And I feel like...
Can I ask you a question? Then you continue explaining.
No, let her land.
Yes.
No, it's just a question for her to continue explaining, but to clarify us. Coming back to what that your teacher said, are you okay with following all those dreams and your passionate things you're talking about, even if it means that you're going to die in a house alone?
Yes. That's what I was about to say. That's what I was about to say. That's why I was driving.
You should have just told that teacher, you should have put up your hand and told the teacher that, sir, what you are saying is true. but I don't mind not getting married and dying in the house alone. If you are willing to take that, then it's fine.
Exactly. So that's what I was about to say. That we make our choices and we should know like this can be the possible outcomes and the consequences. And then for me, I feel like my point I was going to was like, I'm passionate about my dreams, passionate about these things, and I feel like I can, in my own small way, I can lead to some change in the world and I can lead to some transformation and stuff. And when I weigh it between that and the alternative of giving up on that because you're feeling that you need to, in order to get a partner, I've made my choices and I'm like, I choose this. And why I've made those choices is because society also tells women that, like, for example, the whole Cameroonian case where she had to use a surrogate and people were like, you have a lot of people speaking up against that.
And she could do that because she could do that because she has money.
Exactly.
There are so many women who get to that point in life where they were chasing that finance and could not get to the point in their life where they could afford still the surrogate. Do you know that?
So now what my point is for me, I feel like there are some limitations there are some rules to which society has put. Now this is just personal
nature, not society.
Life, right? No. You don't know what I'm talking about. I'm saying there are some rules like people say you have to have your own biological children, or you have to be in this institution, or you like there are a lot of rules in society that say,
there's
okay,
no
as a
like
woman,
that.
this is how you have to. I'm saying that, like, for example, in religion, they'll say, okay, you have to get married, have a family before you have kids.
Not necessarily, because let's not talk about religion, because religion is a whole different politics. Not even in religion.
No. I'm just saying.
It wasn't said in the Bible like that in religion. No.
I'm just saying that in society, a lot of times, like single moms are frowned at.
But let's say that not.
Do you know why?
Norms that things in society expects.
There are norms, yes.
Yeah.
So
do you know why?
Society expects from you.
Do you know why?
Do I know why those
single moms are frowned at? These ladies who, like girls who chase their career and just say they would prefer to have their kid and raise their kid alone. Do you know why they are frowned at?
Can you tell me why?
Because that decision was made by the lady, not putting into consideration the feelings and what the child would deal with when growing up.
And can I add more to the why?
Yeah.
Because I feel like after cancer, that's another plague to humanity. So the fact that those women decide to raise those children alone, whatever those children become, now starts to trouble society. It's not troubling just the woman alone.
And it's as a result of, that's why I said it's as a result of the decision made by the woman based on her experiences, her feelings, disregarding the kid and the kid's feelings.
So you're saying that
Nato in the comment section said he's scared of women who go far in their career.
If I may ask you a question, so you're saying that if a woman raises a child alone, the child will turn bad?
Get my point.
The chances are higher.
No, he must not necessarily turn bad. No, the ambassador. No.
Umar Johnson said that children who grow up without their father stand a higher chance, a very high percentage. I just need to look it up so I don't quote him wrongly. There is a very high percentage of children from single homes ending up in juvenile centers. So there is a strong correlation between growing up without your father and how you turn up in life. I'm backing that again. Jordan Peterson says that nature had a reason why he needed a man and a woman to balance up things in that child's life. There is no way that woman is going to play that role. Like
okay, let me
that child does not have that balance. They grow up having a problem.
Let me reply to all the points. Let me reply to. Okay, you haven't even landed. Just land, then I'll reply all the points.
I've never landed. I've always been cut short.
Yeah, no, the ambassador is killing us. Don't worry. No, it's a land.
This is another feminist issue that we have to start talking about here. Why am I not landing on this podcast?
I'm not landing. Am I landing?
Yes, like seriously, we have to talk about this.
No, I'm not landing. The ambassador is the male in this whole conversation.
Oh.
In engaged conversations, people don't land. We just exchange ideas. It goes back
No,
and forth. It's not like we're making speeches. It's just exchange.
yeah.
Anyway, so my point is that what my point I was trying to drive at is basically I'm just saying that for me in life is like you make your choices and you say, okay, this is a decision that I've made, these are the consequences that I have, and what are the choices that will make me happy, and you live by those choices. Now, and that's why for me, I'll say feminism. Back to my original point where I say feminism for me is a personal thing, and I feel like everybody should personalize the movement because I feel like there are certain people who are very vocal about the fact that if a girl is not ambitious enough, you're not feminist enough. Which for me, I feel like who is the judge of these ambitions, right? People are like, there are some ladies who their dream is to get married, have kids, and just be housewives and be happy like that. And I'm not going to judge you for those ambitions. I feel like the whole feminism movement, it has come to give women the free will to make their choices.
Yes, but deal with the consequences of those choices. That's the whole thing we are talking about. But
be ready to deal with the consequences of those choices.
Yeah.
And I'll also say to young girls out there who have, because I've raised this point before. Money, when somebody controls you financially, the person has control over your life some way. I feel like money is energy even. I feel like money is energy, and somehow your energy is kind of linked and dependent on the person who gives you that money. So for young girls out there, you need to be aware of like the consequences of depending on somebody and the reality of that situation, so that you don't get into any situation blindly, and then you make your choices based on that. So for me, that's like my concluding point. Now, the choices that you make might not be smiled at by society. The norms might be against that. A lot of things might be, this is not the way to go. But
the comment section is killing me.
But I just feel like it's important for you to make your decision not based on what the general public is saying, but based on what personally as an individual will make you happy.
Okay. So there were so many things that you guys said. There's one thing, I don't like writing points. I just align them in my head. Okay. Let's go to that of a child. Let me go to the most recent. Okay. Women, they should, like you advise girls that they should take decisions and knowing their consequences. Okay. And decide if they are willing to deal with those consequences based on the choices they've taken in life.
Yes.
Okay. The truth is, in life, women always feel at the end of all those things, they feel like the consequences were unfair. After taking that decision to go through that consequence, at the end of it all, based on records, based on history, based on everything, women feel like at the end, those consequences were unfair to be impacted onto them. Meanwhile, they took that decision to walk that road, knowing that was where it was leading. That's the first one. The next one is women who raise kids by themselves. Okay, the ambassador said so most of them end up like a high percentage shows that they end up in juvenile detention, or kids who grow up without their dads. Right? They might end up in juvenile detention or in a bad place. The underlying truth is children who grow up without one of their parents, when they grow up they miss one aspect of life, one perspective of life that would have been given by one side. Even if the lady is dating somebody who is not actually their dad, that don't fill up that space in their life. They may try, they may fill up some, but it doesn't fill up all of it. Based on nature, reality, statistics, the man will try his best to impact what he knows and what he's trying to impact, but it won't give it all. The third point
Why are you smiling, Ambassador? That smile looks so suspicious.
I'm reading the comments. I'm crazy.
The third point is when that lady decide to have a kid by herself, raise the kid by herself, the first thing is the same thing she has been complaining about men doing things for themselves, like men taking decisions to run their lives or make decisions for them and control everything. That's the same thing she has done to that kid she has brought into the world. The things the kid will grow up lacking, the difficulties the kid will grow up facing, the woman made that decision to put that child through that based on her personal decision to chase the feminist movement or to empower herself. She's empowering herself, not disregarding the challenges, the things society, life, and nature will throw at the kid when growing up. And it's unfair for the kid. The same way women say the way society was made by men is unfair for the women. Them taking that decision to have the kid by themselves is the same way they're being unfair to the kid that they are about to raise. Because there will be so many things that the kid will be like. That's why most girls who grew up just with their mom, single parent home, most of them grow up and have daddy issues and date older men because they want most of them, it happens. The statistics have shown that they grow up and date older men because they have daddy issues. Some men grow up and become abusive to women based on the male, if they grow up in a single home just with their dad. Not abusive like beating women, but the level of respect or empathy that they have for women will not be the same if they grow up in an environment where the mom was in the same place with the dad. Most of these things happen.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you and the ambassador so you can chip. So there is an ambitious lady and she decides to pursue her career, and then because she has gotten to a certain stage in life, she doesn't have maybe men shy away from her because she has gotten to that stage. So what you're saying is she should not, if she wants to have a family and she wants to have kids, she shouldn't have it.
I'm not saying she should not. I'm simply saying that the decision you took from the beginning to change that path, you should be able to acknowledge the consequences and the things you affect during the
So she should not have kids.
I'm not saying you should not. She should, but she should be ready that whatever happens to the kid, she should bear responsibility that based on the decisions she took to take that path, the decision is influencing the kid and affects the kid. Because you drink alcohol and become drunk and sleep it doesn't stop you from drinking alcohol. I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. You can drink alcohol, but if you get drunk and get run over by a car, it is up to you. You decided to drink alcohol. Don't blame the driver or don't blame somebody. You get my point?
Now, yes, but I want us to, we have, because you have been very vocal about the fact that that's not the way to go, right?
Somebody came in the comment section say, I mean, what? Man, what man, what? La la.
What I'm saying is you've been very vocal. I'm a masculinist. That's cool. Explain. So what I think even the ambassador.
I'm a masculinist.
Masculinist. Yeah. So the ambassador, we have been very vocal about women having single mothers is not the way to go. So what would you say to an ambitious lady? She has made it really big and then she's not getting suitors because men shy away from her because she has become very successful, but she wants to have kids. What will you say to her?
Okay, so I'll answer this at a different level. As usual, that's how I answer my question. I don't feel like there's a one shoot to societal problems. There is an individual problem, there's a societal problem. So I would prefer that they fix the capitalist world so that women don't have to abandon their natural responsibility of having children married to men early enough so that they can raise those children the right way. But given that it's a capitalist world and then things are not yet perfect, if she insists and decides to go with her career and then have kids later on in life and maybe alone, she should know that there are consequences that come with it, that the child might act wayward. Society should also know that the fact that they did not provide a good system, they gave her a capitalist system, she's also going to provide a criminal son who is going to rob her neighbors' houses and then maybe break people's property and then become a future Amber. Okay, with that being said, if society looks at all of this bigger picture, society has a responsibility to fix things for the women, the woman also has the responsibility to make a better choice, because there's a burden that comes directly to her, and there's a shared burden that goes to the society. So being aware of that is a choice to make. And then lastly, I would say that what I always tell you, it's your choice to make. But I have that fear most of the time. When the consequence comes, I always want to blame their uncle who is a witch doctor who has blocked their womb, the parents who did not give them support, the world which is not fair. They don't hold up to that responsibility. So lastly, that's what I just have to say. When it's all said and done, there will be consequences for the society and for the woman. When we make the choice, we should just assume the consequences.
Yeah, so for me, it's not like, because what I want to say might seem like it might seem like I'm saying, like, if men are not willing to work towards fixing it, then women cannot bear the sole responsibility. But maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe that's, I don't know, because, like, for example, I've watched the video on YouTube where this guy was saying, talking about the very thing Liby was talking about statistics of how guys or children who grow up with single moms, how they grow up and they are not brought up the right way because the father is like disciplinarian in the house, the absentee of that disciplinarian, they don't grow up with that discipline factor, which is highly necessary for a well-rounded adult who is productive to society. Now, so this, for me, I feel like the video made sense, but I feel like he was talking solely to the women, like the women are they are the only reason why that situation is happening.
I said like men, like even guys who grew up,
so
kids
much
who grew up just with their
blame
dads,
on
they
the
have
women. Like, if the women, you want to chase your ambitions, you have to choose. If not having a child makes you sad, you just have to suck it up and just deal with it. You have no way for society. You have to forgo the happiness that you want for society's sake. And I'm like, well, maybe some women are willing to be the martyrs.
What about my own answer?
Yeah, so for your own answer, I think the last point where you said something. The last point where you said people start blaming their own.
Owning up to the consequences. Yeah, people owning up to the consequences of choices made.
So for example, the woman has her kid and the child grows up and maybe things don't work well. So you're thinking, okay, she'll start blaming her uncle that has cursed the child or stuff.
That's like, what happens in Africa.
It happens in Africa, let's be honest.
Okay, yeah. The children grow up in two parents' homes and they turn out bad too.
But if the statistics is showing us that more is going to happen to those who are from single parent homes, then it means they will blame their uncles more.
No. So what I'm driving at is children grow in double parent home and they turn out bad. Some children grow in a single parent home and they turn out awesome.
Just get my own answer right. My answer was, in the grand scheme of things, there is the societal responsibility, the woman's responsibility. Most of the time, why people talk to the woman more is because, if we are being honest, the burden of that child's failure in society will come more to the woman than to society.
No, let's talk about the parents. We are talking
but
about single parents here, not single moms. But we are talking about this because feminists decide to go the single mom route. That's how the discussion came about.
Yes,
but single parents.
But my concluding point with this specific topic is, with this specific feminists wanting to have kids on their own topic is, I feel like a single mom raising a child and the child turning out good is not an impossible situation.
No, it's not.
It's not an impossible event.
Yeah,
it is a possible event. Yes. So I will not totally put it out of the box because it's not impossible for it to happen.
Yeah, but
why not?
Yeah, sometimes people always feel like they are the exceptions and things turn out wrong instead of following what works. People always think. People always think they are the exception and things turn out wrong instead of following what
will work.
No. Based on statistics numbers, the major based on the ratio and percentage, it shows that formula works more than this one.
What will work?
it is still show. No,
What is the guarantee of what is wrong?
the guarantee or the
What will
ratio
work?
that children who grow in, like with both parents in their lives, okay, they have a high chance of being, I don't have to say successful,
Productive members of society.
productive,
Productive
and
members of society.
yeah, reasonable members of society than the ones who grow in single parent homes.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I think like in an ideal world, the best situation for a child is the mom and dad, one home, and that's it, right? But the world is not an ideal place, and we cannot leave it to the women alone to be the martyrs.
But women,
So
no,
I'm not
we are talking about
I'm
this
not-
because
I'm
most
not-
of these
I'm
problems
not
come
going
from women.
I'm not going to judge or criticize a lady who decides to go the single parent route, because I feel like society a lot of time expects women to be the martyr when it concerns that specific situation. And
We are not saying we should blame. We are not saying we should
That
blame
approach should
them.
not help us to solve the problem.
It will not.
We are trying to
Wait.
solve the problem.
we're trying to solve the problem, right? We're trying to solve the problem. That's why I was asking. That's why my question was, how would you solve a woman's problem who she has gotten to a certain place in life and she's not having suitors? How are you going to solve her problem?
I understand your question.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so how are
no.
you
The
solving her
truth is, when she gets to that point in her life that she cannot find suitors, the truth is she should reflect on when she took that decision to take herself to that point in life and say, okay,
She should just deal with it.
she just deal with it because that's a decision. Like, it's accountability.
She doesn't want to deal with it, so she says, I'm going to have my kids.
Okay,
you're telling her to
so
deal with it, just
okay,
deal
wait. So when you say you just have your kid, right? However the kids turn out, you should bear responsibility for it.
You don't care.
Okay?
No,
How?
of course not.
Why?
No, so what I'm saying is, no, listen, please. This is what I'm trying to say, right? What I'm trying to say is, if we are talking about solving a problem, then we should be inclusive in all problems. In one problem, we cannot say just deal with it, and then we want to solve another problem.
So what you are saying is the ambassador. Wait. The ambassador.
This woman has a problem. This woman has a problem. She has come to you and she's saying that I need a solution to this problem. I are telling her deal with it.
Okay, Eta, get this point. What you're actually saying is, you intentionally know you're creating a problem. You go on creating that problem. When you finish creating that problem, you say you don't want to deal with the problem.
So what problem is this woman creating by chasing her dreams? This woman wants to be an astronaut. This woman wants to be an astronaut.
I ask a question to Eta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eta, so what suggestion will you give us, though?
Yeah, give us a suggestion.
What should we tell that woman?
What will you do? What suggestion will I give?
Give the lady at the point. What suggestion would you give the lady?
Now, honestly, that's why I'm saying that I will not criticize her, because I don't really know what to say. I don't think that it is fair that you criticize somebody but you don't have a solution for them. That's honestly.
The comment section said we should be interactive with the rest of the family.
So where? So for me, I feel like the best situation for society is children being brought up by their mom and dad.
Yep.
For me, it's both religious and moral reasons why I feel like that should be the case.
Yep.
Right? So that's my personal view. But I'm not going to criticize somebody who has another view and decides to go another way.
We haven't said we are asking you to suggest a solution to that person who has gotten to that point where.
That's what I say. I do not have a solution for her.
Yep.
So I'm not going to criticize her.
No, we are not criticizing her. She is complaining.
Delibi.
Yeah.
What question did August Nato ask you? Is like, where Uncle Delibi? Please answer me.
No, he's saying Uncle Delibi. You see? Okay, he's talking about it. Can you fall in love? Tell us now, because it's like I cannot. For me to marry you, it's like I need to be a billionaire. So that's what he's saying, because that's the mentality most feminists have. That I should
No,
ask you that question.
no.
Of course, you
No,
can.
so yeah, so from the beginning, I think the Libby asked me the question, can I date
Yeah,
somebody who makes lower than me? And I said,
yeah,
I'm cool with it. Yeah, so
yeah. Okay.
obviously. So yeah. So anyway, my point, I'll repeat it again. It's just that a lady who comes to me and she is in this predicament of, I was very ambitious. I wanted to become an astronaut. I wanted to become a business mogul, and I've built this killer business which is helping humanity in this way. But now I have this challenge. A lot of guys, I don't have suitors. I don't have any suitors, but I want to have a child. I want to have a family. I really don't know what to say. I don't know if I should open a dating site.
No, send him to
I
Steve
cannot,
Harvey to
I
do
cannot,
matchmaking,
I
or
cannot.
I'll just call a guy who is ready to tolerate when she becomes let's just say, because you already said don't let anybody control your finance. If the person control your finance, they control your life. So I'll find a guy who is willing to let that lady control his life because she controls the finance, and say, okay, what you take?
No. So for me, I feel like if it's concerning two people making a decision of spending a lifetime together, I cannot be I can tell you, okay, this is a nice person, but this person
Exactly.
like you, but
What
this
did I
person doesn't
say?
like
I
you.
said
But
I'll
if the
find a
person,
guy who is willing.
yeah, so I'm just saying, right?
Yeah.
So she has not been able to find that guy. Okay, if I can find a guy, obviously I will help her find that guy, right?
Yeah.
But if I cannot find a guy, I don't have any solution for her. And she say after some time she comes and tells me that, you know what, I could not find a solution and I've just decided to have my kids on my own. I
But
am not going to criticize that.
do you know, before women get to that point in life where they are alone and they want to raise a kid alone, do you know along the line, because there's no woman on this planet that men don't ask them out on their rise to where they are leading to? Do you know before she gets to that point, she has turned down so many guys which she thought they are not worthy? Do you know that is a fact?
So and that was her choice.
Exactly. So when she gets to the
Why is
point
that an
where,
issue?
yeah, that's her choice. So when you're making
Yeah,
those
I
choices,
don't even see that like an issue.
exactly. So when you get to the end of the rope, when you toss or discredit or cancel all those things that came along the process towards getting to that goal,
Yes.
when you get to that goal
Yes.
and realize that, okay, you are at this point in time and maybe the options that were available are no longer available, who are you to blame? Come on. It's a problem that she
She's
created.
not blaming it. No, the problem is the thing is the lady, you're not getting, she's not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
She's not blaming anybody. The fact that I go to a doctor to say I have malaria does not mean that I'm blaming somebody for my malaria. Okay, maybe the mosquito. I'm not blaming anybody. I come to you for a solution does not mean that I'm blaming society. And if the doctor does not have a solution for me, and let me say, for example, people go to the hospital, they cannot find any solution.
The examples you're
They go to a
using,
pastor.
the examples you're using don't go
No.
with those scenarios.
Wait. So this is the situation.
Yeah.
This lady has an issue, and she comes and she talks about the issue. She tells you about the issue, hoping that you give her a solution. She's not saying that I'm blaming society. She's just like, there'll be, I don't know. I don't have a lot of cheaters. I don't really know what to do. That's what she says to you. She's not saying you see life like this. She's just saying that this is the problem. No blame. And you don't have a solution for her. You cannot give her a solution, and she finds her own solution, and then you
Okay.
criticize it.
Understand
after.
this.
Why?
Understand this. Let me say this. Right? Okay. Man, it's just like we are going in circles to get to that same point you're trying to prove. Get this thing. Okay. Before she got, it's almost like the examples you use are, they don't even, because if you get malaria, mosquito can give you malaria, or things can give you malaria. Okay. It's beyond your control. But these things, based on what society has been saying, based on what even your lecturer said in class, based on everything, during the process, there are so many things that come to play and so many red flags that come to place and say this may, it is not guaranteed that it will lead there, but this may lead you to that. Okay, but you still get to that point in life. So it's not like an illness that you, unless you said you know somebody had an illness and you willingly contracted it, like an STD, and that, yeah, that's when we can say, okay, you have an STD and you're looking for a solution, when you actually know this thing you're doing may give you an STD, and you did it and you had that STD, and you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor you need help. At that point, the doctor won't judge you. He will try to find a solution for the STD, but you know what you will get if you go ahead with it. It's almost the same. When you start that trend, based on what your lecturer say, based on what everybody says, society is saying, you may, it's not guaranteed that the person also may get the STD, and it's not guaranteed that you may end up alone, but you know that is a possibility that you end up there, and you keep moving, get to that point in life. Okay, what I would say is, you already know what you were doing. You are aware of the possible options that you may get. So when you get one of those options, so during your process, you should keep your mindset ready to deal with whatever consequence or whatever option it turns to. So you cannot approach me with that problem and tell me that is the problem, you need a solution, when you know that is the end point of everything you were working your way towards.
Anyway, so for me, I must.
Yeah, Ambassador, you have nothing to add.
Yeah, no. For me,
I need energy, man. It's not easy.
Yeah, no. For me, it's just. I would just say this again that I don't think a girl chasing her ambitions, it's a wrong thing.
It's not.
I don't think ladies should even be discouraged from chasing their ambitions. I do not think. And this is just my personal point of view. Yeah.
They should not.
And if you get to a stage where you feel like you're not getting suitors because you have gotten to that stage and men feel intimidated by you, and then you look for options to
adopt.
You want kids.
You may adopt, or you may find somebody who a sperm donor, or you may find somebody who will be willing to give you a kid. But what we are saying is you should do that. But at that point, you're doing it. You're selfishly bringing a kid into the world that may face difficulties or face the challenges of growing up in a single parent home based on your.
Yeah, but one thing I would even say is, like, for me, when it even gets to the adoption case, and if you're taking a child from an orphanage and you're
both cases
a single parent, I feel like you are giving the child a far better chance.
Yeah, than
there's a high probability that the child will go bad in that orphanage than go bad in your house.
Yeah.
So for me, I even feel like a lady who has made it and she has a big mansion and she takes orphans and puts in her home, I would applaud her for that. So there are always those options.
Then a home becomes an orphanage.
Exactly. You can turn your home to an orphanage. You have 3 orphans staying with you, or they have a better chance of being beneficial for
it's
society.
not necessarily a home becoming an orphanage. Yeah, Ambassador, I guess you can talk there.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, I don't think ladies out there, if you're listening, don't limit yourself. Or
no, don't limit yourself.
Your goal.
But what we are saying is, me as a man, I'm telling you this, okay? Most men will say this, okay? The higher you go up the ladder, the smaller your options are, because the men who sit in the same room with you when you get to that level of success, they are not necessarily looking at you as the best option. They are looking at the girls below you as the best option. They can still go for you, yeah, but at that point it's limited. But for most women who climb up the ladder, they put themselves in situations where they need to date people in their tax bracket or their price or their revenue bracket or above. At that point, it's very small. In the world, it's just 1%. And every girl that start thinking, that reflects for herself. If you ask her who is your dream man, the description is the person in that 1%. You know that, right? Her description is a man who is tall, handsome, can make me laugh, smile, make so much money, can take care of me, spoil me. 90% of
As,
ladies have that. And the few 10%
as if
who,
their fathers were that 1%.
yeah, and the few 10% that decide to work to get themselves to that same level of the man, which they envy a lot, those still women will be competing with that 90% down there for that small percentage of men. And it's highly likely those men will not go for that 10% who are up there. They'll go for the 90 because there are options and variety within there. There's also a question.
Yeah.
There is a question somebody asked.
That's good analysis you have done there, Doc. That's good analysis you have done there.
Yeah, because there's a question somebody asked a girl that.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
It makes sense though.
Yeah, there's a question somebody asked a girl. They asked the girl, "Who do you want to date?" So I need to date a man who makes at least 300,000 a month, $300, not even France CFA, 300,000 a month. He has to be taller than me because I'm 5'4". He needs to be at least 5'9" to 6 days. He has to be all that. The guy said, okay, what do you bring to the table? Because to be honest, in life, men don't date women because of their money. A man does not date. The thing that makes a man attracted to a woman is not how much she makes, and that's one of the factors that make women attracted to men. So that's not even one of the factors. So when the man asks, okay, after all that, what do you think you offer the man after all that? Because it's not your money, it's not your looks, because you'll get your look from somebody. The amount of money he makes, he can afford that look from any other girl. What do you think you will provide that man? She said, my finance. Okay, yeah, your finance. There are so many finance like that. So are you willing to share that man? Because just know, if that's all you're offering, you may not have everything he wants. So because of the amount of money he makes, the 90% who are looking for that amount can offer him some of the things you can't give him. So the truth about life is, feminism, like the whole topic of this thing, we started with feminism, and the trajectory feminism has made, or the mentality feminism has given so many women nowadays, is independent days, chase your wealth, become economically competitive with the male gender, like don't be rash, be cutthroat, be all this as the man. But the higher you get to that ladder, there are consequences that life throws at you. It is not us, it is not the man, it is God, it is nature, it is life. There are things that nature will throw at you. Even the men, if you decide to go by yourself, you go and you have so many women and so many kids. The stress, like the man wants peace of mind in his life, and the more options you have and the more kids you have outside, it depreciates your possibility of having that peace of mind you need to live longer. That's why statistically, women have 10 years lifespan higher than men. Men die 10 years younger than women. Statistically. So
even if they're married or not.
Married or not. But married men have a higher chances. The percentage of married men who die within that gap range is lower than single men. So you get it. So in life, the things that men want and women want, the choices you take to chase both things, you have to deal with the consequences that come with them based on what nature has given us as the things we need. Because a man is fulfilled based on his achievement. You as a man, what makes you sleep well at night, what makes you happy, what makes you satisfied is based on what you achieve, how successful you are, the kind of thing, the way you impact the environment, the world, or where you are, your family and the rest. As for a woman, when they become so competitive, okay, in life, and they grow up, the higher they go up the ladder, it reduces the options, like it reduces the ability for them to be desired by the men within that level in life. So when they get to that point where it's difficult for them to get this family or start facing difficulties, if they raise kids by themselves, the challenges those kids face, they need to deal with, they have to be prepared that they will have to deal with those consequences. The same with men who decide to be single and have so many baby mamas. They have to be ready to face the consequences of them losing that part of them which they always desire, the peace of mind.
Yeah, definitely in life there are various consequences to our decisions, and you cannot be 100% guaranteed that this decision will take you to a 100% blissful life. Honestly, I don't feel like there's even a 100% blissful life. You always have challenges in life. There's no route that will not lead to challenges. So I just feel in life, you just have to choose the challenges you're ready to handle. Because even if you decide to get married and have kids in the matrimony, where you still have challenges there. Even if you decide to forgo your dreams and be less ambitious so that you can be desirable to men, you have challenges in that direction. There are always challenges everywhere. There is not a challenge-free life. So you just have to choose the challenges you're willing to bear.
Exactly. So now, do you agree with me and what Ambassador said, that when that lady comes with that complaint at that point in time, they should say she should deal with it because that was the decision she took and that's what led her to that. That's the challenge she's willing to deal with, right?
I don't agree with you about that.
But you just said there are challenges that come based on the decisions you take in life. If that's the challenge you need to deal with, you have to deal with it.
No. What I'm saying is, I don't agree with you that I'll tell her deal with being single or deal with not having kids. You know, what makes you
provide
happy,
solutions. You can go with
what makes you happy? Yeah. What makes you happy? If you want to be the single mom, you want to adopt, you want to raise other post children,
yeah,
you will face challenges in that direction.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to tell her that.
Yeah. So we are still saying the same thing. So if that is the challenge she's facing, okay, should she accept the challenge?
Yes, she should accept
exactly. So she knew that was the challenge based on the choice she took. So she should be facing the challenges and dealing with the challenges.
Yes, she should accept the challenge. So now my fallback with that, and I quoted a YouTube video where the guys were very vocal talking about these women, why would you do this to society and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to play this blame game and
nobody's blaming anybody.
They were, if you are not, cool. But I'm saying that they were. She even went live with certain ladies and he was being very vocal about, do you know the implications? Do you know statistics that was like being very authoritative and trying to make a point there? And yeah, and I feel like that was.
Are you talking about Kevin Samuel?
No, Abba and Preach. I don't know if you watch
know Abba and Preach. Yeah, I know them. Those guys are Canadians.
They usually go live. Yes, they go.
No, but what they say, those guys, everything those Abba and Preach they say, they are not far-fetched from the fact. Like, it's just that women, it's just that now, mostly, you guys are in Cameroon. Women this way, they have a certain mind state. Like, even going right up to these Instagram models, to these OnlyFans girls, and to all these girls, okay? They have a mentality and they have an image of a man they want to date. And they have things which, come on, like they in here, okay. The thing girls think is,
yeah. Even in Cameroon is the same, man.
Get my point. They don't
have OnlyFans. They don't have how do they call the right thing you call? They don't have Instagram and the rest. But girls are zooming in on scammers now, which maybe that's not the reality of what an average man is.
Exactly. And when you ask the girl, when you deal with that scammer, okay, what's that guy's profession? Lying for a living. So if that guy is lying and cheating on you, do you have any right to complain? Those are some of the consequences we are talking about.
He's just practicing his skill.
No. So now I have an issue with you comparing that girl to a girl who has decided to follow her dreams.
No, he quoted an example and I replied to him. I'm not comparing to the girl who followed her.
Okay, I thought you were comparing.
Yeah, I'm just replying to what he said.
Hey, her dream is dating the scammer. I got lost there.
No, I'm saying that I had a problem with you saying that girl did that, so the consequences.
Because that's not the reflection of an average man.
This other girl wanted to become an astronaut. She faced this challenge, just deal with it. I had a problem with you comparing like those situations are the same thing. Yeah,
it wasn't. It's because I talked about these OnlyFans girls who have a perception or the kind of man they want to date who makes this is in this position of life.
No, but there'll be
Yeah.
That's not the episode. I know they have an episode where they were talking about OnlyFans, but this episode they were talking about ambitious ladies, women who have made it really big and have good salaries, and they feel like
if I just go and Google it, the
the
statistics shows that the highest amount of unhappy women in the world are women who are successful and in their middle-aged women who are successful and alone. Those are the highest percentage of unhappy women. Those are the women
and the
who
highest statistic.
those are the highest women who
statistics
push
on
most of
happy
these
men are
agendas. Most of these agendas, like the feminist movement and some of these, most of them. And when they break off that trajectory and get into, let's just say, a family or this other life, you see, they backtrack. And some of these women who push some of this movement, they are not directly.
And wait, Delby, please.
We have to be rounding up soon. I have to go.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll be rounding up soon.
And men are very happy people. Men are all blissful. Men, are they all blissful?
I told you,
when you talk about,
naturally, men were made, men are not. That's why our main goal in life is to find peace of mind. We are not.
Yeah.
I've not said we are blissful here.
I just want to conclude with something, right? I just want to conclude something. This is my concluding statement. I hopefully I have
the third concluding statement, okay?
Yes. So anyway, I just want to say that, because it stems from what Delibi just said, because a lot of times when you talk about being a feminist, one of the stereotypes that people have is like feminists are sad people, so feminists are sad women, and you just said majority of the women are sad, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times young girls don't want to be looked at as sad, and they want to prove that I'm happy, I'm jovial, so they don't go into that direction, and they don't become ambitious enough or whatever, because they are trying to contradict that stereotype of being a sad, lonely cat lady. That's the stereotype, right? Yeah. So for me, my thought process is, I think that humanity, we definitely have an issue. We have an issue as humanity. There's an issue with the mindset. There's an issue with our actions. There's an issue with the things that are being praised in society. And men and women, that's why one of my favorite Chimamanda's talk is where she talked about we should all be feminists. I feel like men and women, we live in this world together. We need to join hands to fix the problem. We need to stop blaming each other. We need to see where the flaws are and try to fix that problem. True, probably the women who become very ambitious, they get to a certain stage and they start feeling sad. The majority of the people who commit suicide, the majority of the people in gun violence,
not broke people, they are rich.
They are men.
I mean, the majority of people who commit suicide are rich people. Do you know that?
Yes. But what I'm just trying to say is that majority of the people committing suicide and carrying arms to kill people and earn their lives, they are men. Society is showing that men have more of an issue with the whole happiness.
That's why women are emotional beings. We are not.
So no. So what I'm saying is that women are facing problems, men are facing problems, we are all facing problems. Nobody is winning. We need to join hands and find a solution and look for all the gaps and stop the blame game and get on board with feminism.
Yeah.
That's my concluding statement.
Yeah. And one part of the solution is we need to pick our leaders and the kind of people we listen to and the kind of people we chase, because most people who push certain agendas at the end of the day, when you critically look, they are not about that agenda, but because the majority agrees with it and because it sounds good, they push it and realize and monetize it. Because most women who push this single ladies, single all this thing lifestyle or independent women lifestyle, most of them are shacked up in a relationship and happy.
Yes, but what I'm saying again is we could always find flaws in all of these things. When I'll quote my Black Lives Matter thing again, where people will say, when somebody says Black Lives Matter, people say all lives matter, people say Black Lives Matter, they have done this, they have done that. People can have good intentions, you can have pure intentions, you can want to make a change, but then the way you go about it might not be the best. There are all these flaws in these things. but we should all remember the fundamental thing, which is equality between the genders, and we need this in order for us to have a happy world, because without this happy world, we are all going to suffer. And we should stop instead trying to pick out the flaws. We should instead look at the strengths in the movement and try to highlight them, rather than trying to highlight the flaws in the movement, because it's not helping any of us.
That was one long closing remark.
Yeah. I wanted to add something, but you keep us here for so long. So thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Based on that remark, I wanted to add something. Like, we see the good side, and if we ignore the flaws can still come and wash away the good side, because we ignore them and we think they are not important. So we have to pay attention. Acknowledge that both sides are present.
Highlighting the flaws so much.
Yeah, we need to be aware that both sides are present. Okay, and know how to deal with both sides. The flaws, the pros and the cons. So that's my closing statement.
Anyway,
you can digest that how you want. You can think, you can think about that how you want, but
I'll reflect. I'll meditate on it.
Yeah, you meditate on it. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. This is the first 2-hour episode we've ever done, and I told you guys this feminist topic like that. The day we jump into this topic, and there's one thing I'll conclude on this episode. Okay, the whole panel, all of us here, I can acknowledge this. We were talking, though we were using statistics and facts at some point, but we were all talking based on who we are, and we were in these conversations slightly emotionally based on our preference and the way we view life. So we were not completely informed, we are not experts in this topic and in this domain and all these things. All of us talk based on emotion and our point of view and where we are in life, and as we talk based on the amount of information we have on this subject, experiences we have on this topic, on this subject, and this whole thing. Okay, so some of us may have valid points, some of us may give points that when we go back, maybe we may go back and listen to it and say, I fucked up there. But at this point in time, we are both talking, we are all, 3 of us, we are talking based on our experiences, point of view, what we have, and also passionately based on the gender we are. Okay, we represent. Though we try as much as possible to be objective, not trying to consider the gender we are, but that also play a small factor or a small part on
it influences our point
our view and our points and all that, So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys. What do you think about the topic? If you have anything, the video will be up. You leave in the comment section there. I know we really messed up on some points and we gave valid points on some points. Okay, so you guys, the points we messed up in, you can drop in the comment section, because I know most of you guys listening will just keep listening to the points that we, at least maybe they gave a question and we tried to answer it and we went off track, or we never gave an answer which was accurate enough or flushed out the problem enough. But yeah, that's what social media is. And the world is driven by I don't want to say hate or fear, but that's the energy that rules the world, because people always take action when they are negatively impacted by something. That's when action is taken. But when everybody is impacted positively by something, they become comfortable, and it's difficult to see them take an action to say, okay, that thing is good, let's move forward from it and do something good. They just stick to that good thing, and for them to make a change or for them to move forward, whatever they said or whatever happened may have a negative reply or negative impact. So but yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I'm Liby, and my co-host Eta and the ambassador. We had one hectic ride on this one, and the longest episode ever. I'm not sure we'll be able to beat this time again on another episode, but if we happen to beat it another day, I don't know the kind of topic that will do that. Okay. So
thank you guys for sticking with us all through, and also I wanted to apologize, we're not very interactive in this one.